There are so many options on the market for toilets nowadays, it's crazy. So let's take a look at the core things you need to be aware of before you decide on a style. And before you even set foot in a store, you need to figure out a couple of things. One is how far away your toilet flange is away from the wall. In order to do this, you need to get a tape measure out and then measure the distance between the wall and the bolts that are holding the toilet to the floor. This is commonly referred to as the rough-in distance, and you need to know what this measurement is before you go out and choose a new toilet. Hey, hun, quick question. Are you busy right now? Because if you pick a toilet that has the wrong rough-in distance, then it's not going to fit and work in the current space, and you're going to have some problems. The typical distance is 12 inches, but it's not uncommon to see other distances like 10 inches or even 14 inches, so this is something you absolutely must know before you choose a new toilet. It doesn't have to be right at 12 inches. It can be close because you usually have other factors involved like trim on the wall and things like that. So as long as it's not falling on the 10 side or the 14 side and it's right around the 12, you'll know you have the most common rough-in distance from the wall. Another thing to ask yourself is whether or not you want a round or an elongated bowl. Now there are different factors to consider for both of these options, but if you have a smaller bathroom, I highly recommend going with a round bowl, especially if there's already a round bowl in place. The reason for that is probably because there's not enough room for an elongated toilet in that space. So if you have a small bathroom and you want to go with an elongated toilet, make sure that toilet is going to fit in that space and you'll be able to move around comfortably. Another thing you want to figure out is whether or not you want a chair height or comfort height seat, or if you want a standard height toilet seat. This is a standard height toilet, so that you can see this is about 15 inches and about 16 and a half inches with the toilet seat. This toilet I put in next to it is a chair height toilet, and you can see that it's just a little bit higher than the standard height. So it's about the same height as the standard height with the toilet seat, and then once you add the toilet seat, it'll be a little bit taller. Now, it may not seem like the difference between these two different heights can make a big difference, but it can. So if you're looking for an ADA compliant bathroom, most likely you're going to need to go with a chair height toilet. And if you have little kids in the house, you probably want to go with a standard height toilet, so that way it's easier for them to reach and use. Also, speaking of kids, if you have little kids and you're trying to potty train, a round toilet is going to be a lot easier to train them on than an elongated toilet, because most of the toilet training seats are set up to fit in a round toilet. As far as reasons why you might want to go with an elongated toilet, typically these are a little bit more comfortable to use, especially for adults. They're generally considered easier to use for people with mobility issues, and they might be a better fit for your bathroom design, especially if your bathroom has a more modern look. As far as gallons per flush is concerned, 1.6 is going to be the largest size tank that you can find on a new toilet. Back before the early 90s, these tanks could be 3.5 gallons or larger, and so a 1.6 gallon tank is actually the max you can get by law, and it's not uncommon to find tanks that are smaller than that. 1.28 gallons is pretty common as well. Just know that no matter what size you choose, those toilets are designed to work properly with that volume of water. So if you're wanting something that's even more efficient, look for a dual flush system. These are the toilets that typically have 2 push buttons at the top where you can choose how much water you want to use in order to flush the toilet. These can be a real cost saver when it comes to water use, especially if you have a large family. Another factor to think about is whether or not you want a single-piece toilet or a 2-piece toilet like this is here. So a 2-piece means that the toilet tank is attached to the toilet bowl with bolts, and it's not one solid piece of a toilet. So not everything is all attached and really formed together. So the advantage of a single-piece toilet is it's going to look a little bit more modern, and it's going to be a little bit easier to clean too, because you don't have that separation between the toilet tank and the toilet bowl. On the other hand, they're going to be heavier too, because you can't separate the tank from the bowl when you're putting it in place. So if weight is a concern, or if you have a bathroom on an upper floor or in a basement, for example, that might be a factor to consider, because it's a lot easier to carry up 2 parts of a toilet than it is a single toilet. The toilet that we ended up purchasing to replace this one in a different video, which I'll link to here, that toilet is a 2-piece toilet, and the total weight of it is 105 pounds. So it's a lot easier to handle with one person if you can separate the tank from the bowl. Just know that if you like the looks of a single-piece toilet, make sure you have enough help on hand to be able to get the job done safely. Other than that, it really comes down to your preference, whether or not you want a standard white toilet, or if you want one that's a different color, if you want one that's a different shape. All those things can be decided by you, but those other things that we covered are very critical to understand and make sure that the new toilet you choose will fit into the space that you have. If you like this video, be sure to hit the like button, and also be sure to check out this other video next. I'm sure you'll like it too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.